Aloha, everybody. Welcome to another live stream. This is our second official live stream. So
Mm.
appreciate Mr. Atearoa for your time. How are you doing today and what you've been up to?
Good tour. Just a typical Saturday here in New Zealand. Cold. Nothing much. Just did some usual Saturday cleaning and stuff, and yeah, it's pretty chill day though. But it's cold here in New Zealand, but all is good.
Awesome. We're kicking off the weekend here. Obviously, it's Friday. You're a day ahead of us. We're
Hmm.
excited for the weekend. But we're really excited. We have some cool stories here to kind of walk through today. We have a let me just put this. It's been a fantastic 3 months for Polynesian sports overall, Mussy. Um,
What's
that's
what's
been,
um was it what's going on right now? I think the NRL, rugby, Super Rugby is still going on. I know the
oh yeah,
NFL is kind of just doing their OTAs and stuff right now. Um, yeah. Who's any current Polynesian players that are in the NBA right now? I know Jabari Parker. He's gone to Europe. Steven Adams.
yeah.
I don't know if
Something.
he's still going. He was hurt the last time, but I'm trying to figure out if there's been any Polynesians lately that's in the NBA. But
Yeah, there was. Now that you bring up Jabari, because I was really hoping Jabari Parker was gonna come to BYU. Right, he ended up
yeah.
going to Duke. Believe it or not, now that we're talking about BYU, but he also had an interesting interview. I don't know if you saw this, Mussy, but
Where he cries or something.
yeah, let's just take a
Yeah.
look at that, and I just wanted to kind of get what your your thoughts are on. I,
Mm.
I didn't know what to think of that because it seemed, I don't know.
Something spirit. He's going through something spiritually or something.
Yes. So I mean, for the viewers there, looks like we have a comment here that we can take a look at. Um, oh yes, Giovanni Manu. Yes, David. We'll bring up Giovanni Manu here real quick right after this. Jabari Parker. We'll talk about Giovanni Manu, and I think he's
Mm. Yes, he's
Canadian,
been kept.
the
Yes, he's
Canadian
been.
guy
Yeah,
that's skyrocketed.
unusual route. He went from what Tonga to Canada and stayed with some Tongan
Yes.
families there, some relatives, and then went to a university there. That's like a small. I didn't even know that universities in Canada play football. I didn't even know that. So they must have their own league there.
Yeah. So I'll just add it here, David. Yeah, we're definitely going to jump in there. I'm just showing your comment here real quick. We're going to jump on that. But just wanted, I mean, I just wanted to look. I felt for Jabari here, man. Like you were saying, I don't know what's going on. Just I think just have here the viewers here take a look and see what your thoughts are. Ask any questions, but it just seemed a little unusual. I felt for him. So let's just listen in here real quick on this short video.
One thought, one statement about this first year outside United States
Yeah,
in terms of basketball and in terms of life. What's wrong, boy? Are you okay? Do you want to stop? Let's talk later.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, I don't know what was going on there, um, but he
Hmm.
seems to be going through a really tough time, and
Hmm.
I feel for him. Like you were saying, something spiritual. I don't know if I don't know if it was the basketball, but it seemed to be more of the life.
Hmm.
He's in Europe. I don't know if being away from home. I know he's had a lot of injuries going on with
Yeah.
him. I don't know if that's having an impact. Just any thoughts on that, Mussy, before while I look up Giovanni?
Yeah. Me personally, like what you said, I feel like he's come from so much. I think his NBA never really took off. I feel like every time it was about to take off, he had a big injury that will like end his season. So I'm not too sure. I'm sure maybe later on he can really expand on that and kind of share his feelings. But I think he's just went through so much. I don't know exactly what's going on with his family or any of that, but it could be a mix of maybe family being away, his injuries that he's overcome, and maybe still playing basketball and still at a high level in the Euro League, I believe he's at. But yeah, those are my thoughts, and I wish him the very best and success, and hopefully he can come back if he does really well, because he still has the talent to play ball and maybe give the NBA another shot.
No,
So
100%. And hopefully that's something he can address. I mean, obviously, I think he is a member of the church,
yeah,
and really just leverage some of that. But the best thoughts going out to Jabari Parker. I mean, everybody, and this is one thing that I think a lot of people, especially our youth, don't understand. They think that going into professional sports is like some smooth ride,
mm,
right? It's when you look at Jabari, this is a demanding lifestyle. And that's assuming you don't get injured. If you don't get injured,
yeah,
it's still tough and it's very difficult. Now you add injury, you add to being traveling to a whole different nation and how to perform there.
mm,
It's tough. So you know it's not an easy place to be. So what we're gonna do here, unless you had something else, Masi, we're gonna jump in and just take a look at some of Giovanni's highlights here.
yeah,
Like you said, he came from an unusual route. We're seeing that a lot more common now.
mm,
And so let's add here. I'm going to add David's comment here so we can see it while we're going
mm.
through here. But we'll go through Giovanni here and look at a couple highlights, a couple videos, and check that out.
That's him at 76, right? Number 76. And this is playing college ball
in
in Canada.
Canada. Yes.
See, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that Canada had Canadian universities playing football, American football.
So that's him right there, that 76.
Mm.
Pulling guard.
Mm.
Okay. I mean, I'm trying
Well,
to see what else
if
we
these,
got there.
well, no, I was thinking because I know I've been following Shonevaki. He got drafted by the Detroit Lions, and then now Giovanni Manu. So the Lions, man, because they signed the highest paid O line, that Penei Sewell. So the Lions are maybe figuring out, maybe we just gotta draft some Polynesian. So they've got a bunch of Polynesian guys on their team. So looks like I'll be rooting for the Detroit Lions a little bit more now that Giovanni Manu and Shonevaki able to crack their rosters and be following them
Yeah, let's
closely. So
let's let's pull this up. This one looks a little bit more, giving a little more data here. Giving a little more information on him. So number one in Canada, so I mean, obviously in Canada, he's kind of off the charts. Looks like he played D line too while he was in Canada, but he's
nice.
obviously being drafted as a tackle. I mean, yeah, I mean,
Mm,
he's driving the guy like almost 10 yards off the ball. Right there as well, same thing.
nice,
I mean,
nice.
got good feet.
Yeah. And he's got that attitude of a O line, that nastiness that you just try to pancake him.
Dude, he
And
likes to
another,
run. He's like a
yeah.
run play kind of guy.
And the good thing is, that what I see from Manu, Giovanni Manu, it's a bit special when he has direct connections to Tonga, coming from Tonga to go to Canada. So it's a little special in that way because
Yeah,
I think
where's he from in Tonga?
ooh, I'm not
You
too
know?
sure exactly. I can try to pull up.
Yeah,
There
search
was,
that in the background, or if anybody,
yeah,
David, if you know, or anybody
I
who
would
has
like
any
to say from
comments there.
town or something.
Okay. I mean, they must have, because a lot of the conversations were, because I guess I'm looking at this, and I guess you can just look at the speed of the play and kind of the quality of the competition doesn't seem to be as aggressive, but he must have just performed off the charts on the one-on-ones, and maybe
Yeah,
when they did the pro days that
he must have
he was
gone.
probably.
He probably got drafted under the radar, and the Lions, only certain teams probably know certain players, and he still got drafted. So if he went to, like, let's just say, to a D1 somewhere, he'd probably be in the first 3 rounds, 2 rounds.
So
You know,
here's my question then, Masi. Would he qualify for what's that program that the NFL has for foreigners? Would he qualify for that? I'm wondering if that because
he
he came.
probably he. Oh, see, I don't know. Canada. I see. That's the thing. I didn't know Canada had a college football team, because I knew they had their league, the Canadian Football
Yeah, the
League, but
CFL.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure with that.
Yeah, because I mean, just looking at this, I mean,
Hey, if you're a homeowner,
I'm trying
and
to
you have
see if that, because if he qualified for that foreign, which would mean it would be an extra spot, right, on the
Yeah,
team. And
yeah.
so I'm wondering if that had an impact on the
Channel of the
selection.
Detroit Lions, your prime source
Well,
for everything
I know
related to
for
Detroit
a
pride
fact
on the field.
that he got that him being drafted in the 4th round probably gives him more guaranteed money than being the extra slot minimum.
Yeah.
At least he has some kind of contract, and it's more guaranteed money. So I think, I don't know. Yeah,
Here we dive into the latest updates,
maybe he could have gone both,
conduct
but
in-depth analyses,
he knew he was going to get
and highlight
drafted,
exciting
apparently.
moments
So
from the world of the Lions.
participated in combine and stuff, and he had enough video to show what he's capable of doing. So
Yeah. No,
so
I
Tua,
agree.
I had this. He's from Pahu. Where's that at in Tonga?
That's close to town.
Okay, so
So
that's
that's
where
close to
he came
town
from.
in Tonga.
Tonga area.
Yeah.
24 NFL draft. The Lions orchestrated a trade with the New York Jets to secure pick number 126.
So they even traded to get him.
Wow.
That's what this is saying, that they made a trade with the Jets. So they must have seen something they really liked.
Yes.
To make a move.
Ultimately selecting offensive lineman Giovanni Manu from the University of British Columbia. Manu holds the distinction of being the first player ever drafted from that university.
Wow.
Standing tall at 6'7", 1 fu, and weighing 352 pounds.
6'7", 350 plus pounds. That's pretty convincing.
That is. No, that is. And that is so crazy for that British Columbia University to say your first player ever drafted is from Tongan. That's pretty crazy.
Look. I mean, Masi, let's look at this, man. Someone is so well proportioned, and this is one of the things that I
from the
I
legs
like to look at.
all the way
Yes.
to the arms, to the shoulders, to the neck. It's like it's all evenly, because some people,
Yes.
right? Some people,
Yes.
it's either you're more of an upper body, lower body, but that's pretty
Like-
proportionate.
No, and that's the thing. That's what makes this unique. Now that we're looking at him, when you look at someone like this, he doesn't necessarily look 6'7" or 6'8", right? Because typically, like you're saying, when we have someone of that size, typically you see skinny, long legs, oversized upper body. But the fact that he's solid from the top to the bottom here. I mean, that alone is very convincing right there. And then if he shows up for pro day and kills it, he shows some agility, he shows some aggressiveness. And then, for Pete's sake, they drafted Jordan Mailata with 0 NFL experience. This kid has obviously played some college football. Granted, the competition's not great,
Yes,
but he's been practicing some technique. He understands the game.
Yeah.
Seems like and then they were serious about this. I didn't know that they traded. Made a trade with the Jets to go up and get him.
Yeah, that is, I think, and that's probably a lot of props to the Lions organization and their management. They've probably, like I said, I feel like this guy was probably under the radar because of where he played, but I feel like the Lions specifically, maybe another team, but probably they really did their homework on this guy, and he was worth that risk.
Manu boasts an impressive 8.84 relative athletic score, RAS, and emerged as a late blooming prospect during the draft process. His visit to Allen Park for a late top 30 inches visit left a lasting impression. as the
Yeah.
Lions went above and beyond, scheduling the visit on their day off. Manu expressed
Dude, they literally went out of their way, like I said, on their day, not even on the
Good on
day
the
that was
Lions. Yeah,
scheduled.
yeah,
Dude, he's solid. Look at those legs, man.
yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, this guy's a
his
monster.
appreciation for the Lions' enthusiasm about his potential, evident in their willingness to trade a 2025 third-round pick to secure him in the
Wow.
4th round.
Mm.
Hailing from Tonga and later settling in Canada, Manu committed to the University of British Columbia, where he started all 4 years on the offensive line, showcasing versatility by playing both left tackle and left guard positions. When teams ask me about my preferred position, I made it clear that I'm willing to play wherever they need me, Manu shared with Justin Mello of the Draft Network. My priority is contributing in any way possible to help.
I really hope he's able to pull it off as tackle just because of the money, right?
Yeah,
I mean, at the end of
yeah.
the day, like he has the right attitude. I'll play wherever you guys need me and I can contribute to the team, but I'm secretly hoping he's able to go to tackle and make some good money at
He's
tackle.
he's probably because the other tackle is that Penei Sewell. He plays with right tackle, and then I don't know who's that left tackle of the line. So
Yeah,
they definitely got some. They got
some
some
good
good depth.
quality players there.
Yeah,
And the Sewell guy, highest paid O lineman, Polynesian. So
the team win games. Whether it's guard or left tackle, I'm open to both depending on the team's needs. While Manu may not be an immediate impact player, he represents a high upside developmental prospect for the Lions, reminiscent of their selection of DT Broderick Martin last year. The Lions are committed to nurturing Manu's talent within their program, understanding that his contributions may take time to fully materialize.
I mean, that's pretty
really good
awesome.
prospect. Yeah,
That
really good
is
prospect.
pretty awesome.
And for him being, like 4th round, that's still relatively a good round to be drafted. You're expected to make that 53-man roster if you're not you don't have any serious issues or injuries come on you. But yeah, he's looking on the up. So good on Giovanni Manu. Be following the Lions a little bit more.
Yeah, and here's another interesting story, Mussy. I appreciate David and sending in these comments and the suggestions here. The Vakalahi kid from New Zealand following the same trend as Jordan Mailata. Have you heard
Yeah,
about this kid?
I think he served his mission in
Yeah,
New Zealand, right? And then like after his mission, he's like his family lives in Australia, and then like apparently the Eagles signed him to like a deal to come and try out. So he's another one up and coming too.
yes. I'm trying to think to see if there's a shorter video we can kind of just walk through here real quick because he's literally no NFL experience, no football
Mm.
Hey, if you're a
experience,
homeowner and you
and
have a house,
To me, it's
he's
gonna be
killing
like
it.
what Jordan. Yes, the to me the big one is gonna be the understanding and the language of the game because that's probably the most difficult because it's not like rugby that you just run this way, run this. It's very complex and hopefully the Eagles. What also helped Jordan Mailata is having a steady head coach for a little bit so he
Yeah,
can understand. So hopefully things work out for him because I know that's probably the biggest jump is the language of the game.
let me see if I can find it. There was a video that they just had like a quick Australian or New Zealand news that they had of him.
Of signing his deal with the Eagles.
Yeah, yeah. I think I just like a short video.
Yeah. No. And no, and I think I'll just also just kind of just share too that why understanding football plays it's really difficult and it's really hard for international players. It's not like basketball. Basketball is pretty simple. It's like, checkers, you do this, it's only five, and you can get
Hmm.
people who don't speak or don't really speak English at all, but you can still understand and play with each other. But like in football, everyone's got to speak the same language and have a high level of understanding of the English language to really understand the
Yeah,
football language. So that's what makes it hard for international players to really assimilate to the football. plays.
Yeah.
To me that's the biggest difference. Because like Mailata said, he had the physical tools to do whatever. It's understanding the plays. That
Yeah.
was it's really complex. You're going from
It's
checkers to chess.
well, and
You know.
that's the thing is we all know the Polynesians have the physical attributes. There's no doubt about that. It's the mental and the emotional capacity, like you said, the complexity. That's the one thing. There's a lot of specialization in
Yeah.
football. So the more complex something is, the more you have to know your role and the more you have to be on the same page. And like they say in football, it's about just doing your job. That's step number one.
Yeah.
Understand your job and be able to understand where you need to be. And then to realize, I mean, this kid's what? They have him here at 6'5", 318 pounds.
And he's
They're calling
21.
you. Yeah.
That's the good thing. He's still relatively young because that's what you want. International players, you want to be around
Yeah.
as early as you can because you're gonna have to learn the plays because the older you are, you use those times to learn the plays and then your physical ability starts to deteriorate and then that becomes later.
Yeah, because I mean, a quick learning curve. They've, in a sense, the Eagles have cracked the code with
Mm,
Jordan Mailata, right?
yeah.
So with this guy, they're hoping to duplicate that process. They say, hey, we understand how to get somebody up and
Yep.
going real quick. Um, Let me see here. Another one that just to kind of quick review. This is kind of more of the more well-known um people that were drafted.
Mm,
Okay, so we got one,
yep.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Polynesians
Mm,
drafted. And
yep.
this is, dude, that's for the small population that we have. This is crazy.
Yeah. 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 First defensive player ever drafted. It's like first defensive player in all of the NFL draft was Tongan, that Latu kid going to the Colts. So I mean, it's we're making a huge impact, and all these football players wish them the very best, and also the positive impact they get to do for their families too. So it's an
Yeah,
awesome thing.
it is. It is. And I think this shows some data here, I think, on the impact of Polynesian players just in general in the NFL, right? The
Oh,
impact
nice.
of the Polynesians in the NFL is extraordinary. Just this week, the Soul
Mm,
guy from the
yep.
Lions, he's now the highest paid O
O-line
lineman.
history.
You get these younger kids getting drafted in the first round, three of them,
Hmm.
right? Were selected in the first round of the NFL draft, representing 15%. And you got to remember, like what? We're like
Yeah.
0.03% of the
Not
population. This is
in the
this
U.S.
is
Census. Yeah.
yeah, is off the charts. Like you can't exaggerate the impact here, right? And then you
Yeah.
you talk about guys like Tua, what he's doing
Mm.
with the Dolphins.
And
Puka
he's
came out of
potentially
nowhere.
yes. Tua is gonna sign another big contract. He's still in negotiation with that.
Yeah.
Puka, like what you said, didn't he break the record for the
Yep.
rookie most catches or
Receptions and
something?
yards.
Reception.
So like I mean, this is like I said, man, the last few months for Polynesian sports has just been off the charts. Super exciting.
Mm.
The things going on. And then we also have um Joseph Parker, right? Now a heavyweight champion
He's on
again.
the up and up. Yep.
Like this is just crazy. I mean, so Joseph Parker is killing it. We now have a Polynesian heavyweight champion. Then we have
That Jay Opetaya is another Samoan up and
yes,
coming. He's in the
we have this
cruiserweight, but I
guy.
I
Yeah,
feel like he's gonna do well, but I feel like he's another potential heavyweight that will go to heavyweight.
yeah, because he's already talking about he's thinking about Usyk, and Usyk
Yep.
just announced that after his rematch with Fury, he's going to go back down
Mm.
to the cruiserweight. So
Cruiser.
they're going to run into each other, and then eventually he'll go up. But I really like this comment that that Jai puts in here, and I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on this.
this is all new. You know what I mean? I've only leveled up. Like I've gone up a level. You know what I mean? I've still got a long way to go. You know what I mean? Like, cause I'm talking like fucking couldn't even find matching pairs of socks and shit. You know what I mean? Like holes in my shoes. Like, fuck. Now now I just get to buy myself some shoes and shit. And I got a big family. You know what I mean? I got people to take care of. I got, I got mouths to feed. You know what I mean? I'm not
Mm.
doing this for the flashy cars and the, you know what I mean? I'm not doing this to be a fucking famous, wear diamonds around my neck and shit like that. I'm doing this to provide. I'm bringing this to to bring bread home for my family so we can all take, holidays together. You know what I mean? The drive's different for me. So all that flashiness and buying expensive things, bro. We're a long way from that, Like I still got family members that still work every day. So until they start working and they can go home and live in their house peacefully, we're far away from that shit.
Very
Nice.
interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting.
To
What are
me,
your thoughts?
clearly he's a
Did we lose you, Mussy? I think we may have lost Mussy here. We'll have him jump back on. But really, what I really enjoyed about that was just the mentality that he has, the willingness to, refocus. He's I think that's the unique thing that us as Polynesians bring to the culture is a refocus and a return to focusing on what's important, and that is God, family, and contributing to society. And
oh,
so,
there we go.
okay, perfect. Are you back, Mussy?
Yeah,
Just
back
what
now.
are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that? I thought that was a very cool thing for him to
Powerful.
say.
No,
Yes.
powerful. As a Polynesian, like I said, you're thinking out of yourself. You're thinking of your family, and in the way he's talking, he's thinking of his extended family and stuff. So he's already identified his purpose, what's fueling him to kind of accomplish as much as he can in the boxing, so he can financially take care of the people that he cares the most. So it's a good thing that he's doing this, and I'm glad he's not getting caught up. A lot of the other boxers, it's all about the flashy flash and all of that kind of stuff. But to me, once you identified your purpose, you're less likely to get distracted, and not only that, you're better to manage distraction because boxing can be you can be very high and light, and there's a lot of distractions thrown at you. But looks like he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's like I said, he knows what he's doing and why he's here. So it's good to see. Powerful
Yeah.
message.
Very powerful. I think the last one from like the combat sports that we can talk about real quick before we do a quick swing over to um NRL real quick
Mm.
is we also have the BMF champ Max Holloway.
Oh,
Um I know. I
dang! His
know.
last fight, man.
Oh,
That was a
dude.
that's a true to me. That's a true like a Hawaiian style brawl, Samoan just stand in the middle and whoever hits the hardest falls down is that person who's still standing wins, man. But
Yep. Yep. And
none of this calculation or anything to try to dive or whatever or wrestle and try to submit. No, it's just one one hit a quitter, like they always say in Hawaii.
no, and it's a dude. He had a awesome. I'm trying to find the video here showing right because it really it like David Totair will put up his comment here. Um, you know, where do we get our humbleness coming from such a warrior culture, Masi? What do you think? What are your thoughts on that? While I
Ooh,
look up the video here.
I think you get your. I think we get our humbleness from, especially I think in our we get our humbleness because no matter what you do in the world or whatever you accomplish, you you have a role you play within your family and within your village and within your kind of extended family kind of thing. Because one,
Mhm.
I'm just thinking there's going to be times that you, of course, you're going to be doing well and achieving, and your family will be recognized in certain events. But like I said, like then with our family affairs, if there's like a fahu in place or somebody, uh, a relative of the female line, they're having an event, then when you go over to their place, you're there to serve, and that really humbles you, and you play that role. So I feel like maybe that plays a huge role. And not only that, then when you're serving your ho'eki or you're serving your king, there's a certain role you play into that. And no matter what you did outside of that, that it can be very flashy and stuff, you're still the same person wherever you're gonna be at in that role you're gonna play. You know what I mean, Tua?
Mhm.
Um, I'm just having like little memories, especially when we. You know what I noticed, and I remember now. Every time I went to Akilele's house, which is Dad's older sister, there was a certain respect that we did, and part of that respect is we never sat on the chairs. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
I always remember going there. And I didn't like going there, but because grandma and everybody and Dad would say you sit on the floor, and it's all the time. It was always sitting on the floor, and it was just probably a signal of just being respectful to Dad's older sister going to her home. But I remember every time going to Lele's home in the living room, I always have to
Yeah.
sit in the floor. That's all of us kids. But that's just my memory of that, and I feel like that the culture, when you're serving in your capacity, there's times you're gonna always you have to be humble just because you're doing something maybe great outside of your family and stuff. It's not gonna be a good fit when you have to serve somebody, and you gotta have some humility with that. But that's what I'm
N-
thinking.
No, I agree, and I think that there's just so many parts of our culture that just really encourages that. Like you were saying, one of the things that is kind of different for my wife, Ovia, being Palangi is the, the mentality of the Palangi is mom and dad are supposed to take care of us, right?
Mm,
Like mom and dad are supposed to take care of us, and that's the way it works. But she says we noticed that in the Polynesian culture, it's the other way around, right? When
mm,
the kids grow up, the mentality is the kids take care of mom and dad because it goes along to what you're saying. And I think it's because we've been taught a healthy mindset to understand as individuals. This comes back. Remember, Mussy, on that podcast, we discussed what's one of the benefits or the weaknesses of our cultures. And one of the
yeah.
benefits of our culture is we are taught very quickly, or we recognize very quickly, you aren't able to do a lot by yourself, right? Like
Mm,
you don't achieve something by you just going as a one-man show. And that's not the mentality that our culture encourages and actually achieves, right?
mm,
Our mentality is everybody achieves more when we work together, and
mm,
everybody understands their role. Like you were saying, in order to be able to execute something, everybody understands their role. You'll, like your mom and your dad, it's almost impossible, and it is impossible in many mindsets in the Polynesian world, for our parents to do anything that would remove them from the position of mom and dad. Because
mm,
why? We recognize you remove mom or dad, there's no you and me.
mm.
Regardless,
Yeah,
if you were to say, oh, they were the worst people in the world, but
yeah.
at the end of the day, mom and dad gave you life. And without life, as awesome as you think you are, without life, you can't do anything,
Mm.
you
Good
know?
point. Good point.
So
Yeah.
that's really, to me, was a big indicator for that. I want to see here, because I mean that stuff that Max Holloway did, that is just off the charts. I mean, let me
Very
see.
entertaining and very, like I said, I think I was Joe Rogan. The commentators in the fight, they were saying he didn't have to do that because he was winning the rounds. That was more of a risk. If it was just because anyone, it's 50-50. He could have just waited it out. But that's just just a warrior spirit my man Holloway was having.
100%. And Joe Rogan said he considers it the greatest knockout in UFC history, right? Because of
That's
what you were
crazy.
saying. Because what you were saying, he was up all the cards. He was up. He had no reason. And Gagey is no scrub,
Yeah.
man. Like when he did that, he was at high risk of being knocked out. So let's just watch this real quick. And David brings up another interesting point here that we'll kind of bring up and discuss. And I think there's a lot of truth to what David's saying there. But just to watch real quick. Look at that.
Whoa. Dang. 1 second. Wasn't there 1 second left?
1 second left
before the final round was going to be done.
You know, and that's kind of like, and this is a good point that David makes here is I think, David, that's the mentality that, you know, that Max had there. He's like, dude, I know I'm leading. I know, but dude, this life, nothing is promised, man. We're here to provide a show, and we're going to provide a show. You know, this is the BMF title. We're going to show people why we are the two that are in the arena here fighting. And that's how you create moments. You know, I like, this is David's comment here, is I think it's also coming from a warrior culture. Our ancestors knew to appreciate life, knowing tomorrow was never promised. I 100% agree. You know, the people who understand war, typically, if they have anything up in here, granted, there's always people that have a lot of war experience, don't have a lot in here and in their heart, that love war, become bloodthirsty. But anyone with some wisdom, some experience who's gone to war, they are the last ones to want to go to war. But they also understand when you go to war, everything is on the table. You go 100%. You don't want to go to war, but once you're at war, there is no turning back, because you know that's the stage we got into. Any thoughts on that, Mussy?
No, just to go along with what David Dodai was saying, I think Polynesian, like, because of the, you know, our warrior culture and just that warrior mentality, Polynesians as a whole, we know how to have a good time. Like,
yes.
We know how to have a good time in a healthy way, that, you know, in the understanding, like, you know, he kind of said, you know, tomorrow, let tomorrow take care of tomorrow. I'm just thinking of like some of like, I know people give a bad name for like the fat lave lave, especially the new generation, the fat lave laves and the cavenga. Some of our people do, but to me, it's the mentality of, let's just worry and get that done. We'll worry about tomorrow when it comes. Let's take care of now, because this is our responsibility. We're gonna have a good time. The other family's gonna have a good time. We feel happy doing it. So and sometimes the new generation just needs to understand. Just go ahead and support and do it, because if you don't support, it's gonna happen no matter what. And they need to, and like, they need to have that Polynesian lens of saying, it's let just take care of it now. Let tomorrow take care of tomorrow, because like David was saying, tomorrow is never promised.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like, and to me, that's some of that warrior culture too. I feel like it's probably passed down in different aspects of our areas, like the Fatlavilaves, the Samoans would do, some of these Kavengas, Tongans would do. It's no easy feat to do, but they do it because they want to do it, because like I said, we don't know,
It's
tomorrow might end, and then what?
no, and it's funny because this is a follow-up with what David is saying here. Is I was having a conversation with my daughter, my oldest daughter. She started wrestling and started talking to her about the winning mentality, the Polynesian winning mentality. And I would tell her, you have to figure out, and I said, you have to figure out the switch, right? Because you got to be able to turn it off. Because I would tell her, you know what a lot of sports comes down to? Who's willing to die? You know, when you're in a rugby game or a football game, when it comes, push comes to shove, if you're just overly dominant, the other guy can't do much. Yeah, you're not going to get into it. But when you come across someone who can give you a good challenge and a pushback, size, there's no a disparity in size, skill sets are kind of the same, then it comes down to one thing. Well, we ain't going to worry about tomorrow. We're only going to worry about today. And I would literally, you have this mentality is, well, I'm willing to die here. Are you willing to die? I have a feeling you're not willing to die, you know, and you really have to throw it down. And it is a switch that, you know, as Polynesians, I think we have that switch and we sometimes lose control of it, right? Because sometimes I noticed because every blessing can be a curse and every curse can be a blessing. we have that capacity that when it's war, all bets are off, man. Why am I going to worry about tomorrow when I'm in a war today? You know, I have to win the war today in order for there to be a tomorrow. So I agree that that's the mentality in sports. That's one of the things that makes us, I think I was talking with Danny, the physical capabilities is kind of baked into our recipe. They've already done the studies. On average, Polynesians are by far the largest people. When you look at bone density, muscle on average, you go to larger populations, they'll have much larger and much smaller people. But Polynesians, a consistent recipe, right? Bone density, the heavy muscle mass, but with a healthy amount of quick twitch muscle, which that's a powerful combination. And then you add that death mentality. Oh, I'm not going to worry about tomorrow. If I die today, all right, then that's it. The other guy deserved to be there. But 100% agree with David's comment there.
Yeah, good comment, David.
All right. With that being said, we're going to jump into this other article because if we thought we were impactful in the NFL, wait till you see this headline, Masi. Take a look at this bad boy.
NRL under fire for acknowledging that over 60% of their players are Aboriginal or Polynesian. You know what too? I remember when the NRL started going, I think they said it was 30%. Then it went to like 45%. Then they were like saying about 50. Now this is my first time looking at the NRL. Now they're reporting 60%, over 50%.
Yeah.
And
I
to
mean,
me,
that's a crazy percentage.
Yes, that is
you
crazy.
know,
That is
I mean, and look at they have Frizzell,
yeah,
Tongan there. But I mean, and we're not just talking about 60%, but we're talking about 60%, and then some of the greatest superstars are the Polynesian players in there. And obviously the Aboriginals, they're kind of lumping it in there. But I mean, statistically speaking, 60% of the NRL is Polynesian and Aboriginal influence. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, and I was just gonna say that's probably gonna play a big influence for the Polynesian players to kind of for the better for what society needs. I know Manly went through a big thing when they wanted to force the players to wear pride uniforms during their game. Some of the Polynesian guys said,
Yeah,
"Oh no,"
they're the ones who stood up.
Yeah, stood up, and then they didn't participate. So to me, the our influence in the world is going to be like much bigger than just sports. I think it's going to be for the good because of just how most Polynesians are brought up. So
no, and it's already starting to show. I mean, we're branching out. Even let's just get into sports before we go out to the bigger part of culture. We're starting to see Polynesians go into the skilled positions in the NFL, right? We're getting receivers. It used to be linebackers at best, and then Troy Polamalu kind of opened up the secondary for defense. But now we're getting receivers and we're getting quarterbacks at a high level. And we're talking about high level performers. So I will never forget, I got really frustrated with a BYU coach when I was at BYU because they came to talk to me about someone they were looking to recruit from Hawaii.
Yeah.
And it was a tight end kid. It was a Samoan kid. And it looks like that BYU was looking at him. So the BYU coach comes and goes, "Hey, you know this gentleman?" And I was, "Yeah, man, it'd be great to have him." And then, and I hate to say it, that the feedback was, "Oh, but he's not like fast like the Uri Uris." And I was like, "What? That has nothing to do with what we're talking." And I told him, I said, "Dude, we have some tight ends on our team and they made it to the NFL. They weren't even that fast, but they ran good routes. They had good hands, but
great blockers, probably."
Yeah, exactly. And we've kind of transcended that stereotype. So that's really awesome. So really, really great news with the Polynesians there. It's been a great, too bad for Swali'i in the state of origin, getting that high tackle. And let's have a conversation on that, Masi.
Let's have a conversation on that. So this is something that the NRL needs to adopt. This is my opinion with the NFL. I think the NFL has the perfect rule. I think even college football, when somebody's doing an illegal tackle, they're sent out.
So we're
Yeah,
like 7 minutes into the game
yeah.
so far.
No, and this is the thing I'm frustrated with rugby and league. When they do these red cards, you're already putting them in a huge disadvantage. And I feel like the NFL, college football rules are better. If there's an illegal hit, that person is sent out, but you get somebody else within your team to go sub in. So you at least keep it competitive.
Yeah.
Because to me, if this is like the Super Bowl, I'll be super pissed to it if I paid to go to a game and you're saving money and you bring your family and you're a New South Wales fan. Because you're just there just to watch for the sake of it. You don't
Yeah.
you're there
The
to watch
game's over.
Queensland.
It's
Yes.
over.
So
Yeah.
so to me, for the rugby guys and the league guys, if they want to elevate this as a competitive to try to retain fans, like because you're trying to grow your sport, that's a rule they probably have to do. And I feel like rugby is really slow to change. They always copy league, so league is more likely to do this rule change, and then rugby will always copycat
Rugby
league.
league.
But yes,
Yeah.
so that's to me that's
So no, and
my view on that.
that's a good point. That's a good point because for us in America, that would be the equivalent of someone on a football game getting kicked off and your team now has to play with 10 people,
Correct.
right? Against 11. And everybody knows the moment you do that, the game's over,
Yeah.
right?
You
There's just
probably
no way you
probably
can be competitive.
you'll probably see fans start walking out of the stadium if that was
Yeah.
gonna happen. Because
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I wish there was a way they could find out how many people turned off their TV the moment they sent Swali off because they all know that game's over. I think the final score was what,
it was a
30
kill. Yeah,
something or
they
40
smashed them.
something
Yeah.
because it's so competitive. It's at such a high level. Like you were saying, I agree, Mussy, that it really destroys the game. It hurts the fans. Granted, you want justice on the field, but you don't want to punish the fans
Yeah.
through
Who
the
hate?
execution of justice on
Yeah.
the field.
Yes. And they all know it's the fans that keeps the players' jobs and pays their salaries. It's the fans that pays the management salary. So fans got to be the forefront when you're doing these kind of decisions.
Yeah.
So
No, 100%. Reese Walls, he was out. And he's out
yeah,
for the whole series. Like it
yeah.
sounds like. Well, I guess no, he's probably not out. He got a category
He
1
passed. Yes, he passed
yeah,
his concussion protocol test.
concussion test. But I mean, that was really unfortunate. It really sucked to kind of see that happen. But I agree. I think they need to figure out a solution for that,
Mm,
and come up with a way to solve that. Hey, Basi, I want to come back to this
what's up?
because I want to watch. It's just a great video. And this is just coming back to the blessed era.
Blessed.
And it's really just the kind of, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we bring to the table as Polynesians that, kind of like what David said, man, we bring like tomorrow is tomorrow. We're going to take care of today and
Yeah.
entertain the crowd. But just listen to what Joe Rogan said. And he has over 100 million subscribers.
Number one
Right?
podcaster in the
Number
world,
one
yeah.
podcaster in the world. Listen to what he says about this whole situation with Max Holloway.
Day, based on my reaction, I say it's the greatest knockout of all time. The reason why I say it's the greatest knockout of all time is because everybody thought that Justin was going to be overpowering you. He was a bigger guy. He had just knocked out Dustin Poirier. You had lost the last fight to Volkanovski. You hadn't been in title contention since then. You had a bunch of great wins, but here you're going to fight this bigger guy, and all these people are writing you off, and you're tuning him up. And then for you to stand winning 4 rounds to 1 in the middle of the octagon and point at the ground with 10 seconds left, and then to knock him out with 1 second left, the way I reacted, the way I jumped up, I've never done that before. I say
Crazy.
Nice, that's awesome. There's another comment too that I like about Max Holloway that kind of really depicts his warrior spirit. He says, "You know what? If I was in what is it in Rome in the what do you call that entertainment tour where the gladiators?
The
What do you call that?
Gladiator Coliseum.
Colosseum. He says there's no such thing as a weight limit. You put whatever guys in front of me, I'll fight
Yeah.
them. There's no such thing as a weight limit. I'm just a gladiator, you know. And that's just Holloway, man. He's gonna fight anybody, heavyweight, whatever weight, because gladiators, there was no such thing as a weight class when you're there in the Coliseum to fight. You're there to entertain and just kill the other person. So to me, that when he said that, I was like, dude, this guy, he's just a killer, man. He's there
Oh,
just
dude,
to like, he's
I
there to
got
have fun.
I got the perfect video. I've been looking for it in the background, right? And
Yeah.
let's put this up, dude. This is killer right here. This is a Max Holloway. Looks like in high school, maybe even middle school. Okay, and this is really cool. This
Mm,
is I was looking for it. I was trying to find it earlier,
mm,
but this is 16 years old, Max Holloway.
What is that? If you give up, you certified a loser. If you try, you at least win in your book. My mom and my dad, I knew there was heavy drug users, and then my dad would always beat up my mom. I think so that her drugs was like her medicine, like would calm her stress. The last time I saw my dad was when I was like 10, 11 years old, and then I never see him after that. I should pray for him, but like he has no use in my life anymore. You shouldn't even
mm.
give up. What is that? If you give up, you certified a loser. If you try, you at least win in your book.
I think so. There's a couple things that comes back to our discussion and in our response to David's question is, look at him. He's saying, yeah, my parents were drug users, but they're still my parents, right?
Mm,
And my mom was just maybe drugs was just her way of trying to handle. Very respectful, still very thoughtful
mm,
of his parents, but the mentality of I'm not gonna quit. If I quit, then I'm a certified loser. If I fight, and even if I lose, at least for
mm,
me, I'm not a loser in my book.
mm.
So that's the kind of mentality that when you're up 4-1, right? That you
Yeah.
said, yeah, I'll meet you at the middle of the table here, and we're gonna punch it out.
Sludge it out. Yeah.
Oh man, David, I appreciate that. David's very active here. Masi, let's have some discussion on this question.
Yo.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? How do you all feel about the Matema Tonga and Kaletahi missing out on being able to pick the Tongan kids from America? Imagine if USA was big like New Zealand and Australia.
Mm, I think so. Let's talk about the Matematonga rules because I think league is a lot more flexible, right?
Yeah,
With its rules. So Matematonga, I think because like what you mentioned, what 60% NRL players right now, Tua,
yeah.
right? So the choices that you have on guys to represent Matematonga that already know how to play league in a very high level, and you still get um, very good players within that league area. I feel like that's why it's really difficult to get guys from probably from America. That's probably maybe at best at community base, and it's only
Hmm.
some states, not all. I think the only kind of most active ones are kind of like in that East Coast and like West Coast, and they have these community league tournaments they kind of have. So to me, that's the reason. I feel like Ikaretahi will probably benefit a lot with some guys from America with that that are not in the NFL but are still fit and skilled and can learn the game of rugby at probably at a quicker space because Ikaretahi, I feel like have a little bit trouble, especially with the rules of prominent Tongan players playing for other countries. They got a 2 year stand down tour. Is
Hmm.
that the
Yeah, yeah. That's
rugby
why
rules?
Charles Putau and what's the other guy from
Ngani Ngani Laumape or something. He's
yeah,
another guy that missed out.
Laumape, and there was the other guy. Shoot, he's in Europe now.
Fekitoa. Fekitoa.
Fekitoa Malakai. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So no, so to me, I feel like Tonga Ikaretahi can use some Tongan players, especially probably from America, because they're still pretty high level. The union in like Steelers, some of those like community stuff. I feel like some of those Tongan guys that playing like in Utah, California, some even in Hawaii, that probably can have a positive impact to in
Hmm.
Ikaretahi. That probably Ikaretahi are missing out that because they can't get their full squad because due to rugby union rules, which I feel like is very stupid and medieval times.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that to me, those are my thoughts. I feel like Matima Tonga, there's already a good stash because it's easy to get players, whoever they may be, and like I said, there's a lot of pickings there. But Ikaretahi, with its current rules, could benefit um, from Tongans in the U.S. That's my opinion.
Okay. So yeah,
How about you?
I would agree. David's just kind of giving some clarifications here. He's saying I was meaning if America was big on rugby like the rest, say there was no NFL and the American
Oh,
Polynesian kids only focused on rugby.
I
Yeah,
oh
obviously, right? I think if America decided to pour, one of the things that I think I tried to kind of tell some of our cousins and some of our family and people, just people we talk with in general about what America brings to the table, it's the sports science, man, and
yeah.
the money and the sports science. And when we say sports science, we're talking about, the nutrition. We're talking about
Yeah.
the highest level of training and
Mm,
strengthening and conditioning, and then
recovery.
also
Yeah, yeah.
recovery. It's That's one of the reasons why America's developed such high athletes, and then it gets developed from a young age. you
Mm,
know I'm bringing up. So yeah, absolutely. If America were to develop rugby here, I would assume we would see the same stats like we're seeing in the NRL. 60,
yeah.
50, 60% of these kids. And then, yeah, if Matema Atonga and Kaletahi couldn't access that, it's the same problem that they have now with Australia and New Zealand and even European. Because we got to remember, even the European clubs, one of the challenge that we have with the Polynesian players is the European clubs say, well, if you go and play for Matema Atonga, we won't keep your contract,
Mm.
right? So here you are going to Mate Matonga. One of my favorite videos is what's the Tongan prop that was playing for Fiji?
Maafu.
Was it
Was he
Ma?
a
Was that
Maafu? Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
So it's hilarious, right? Because he's
His
calling
first choice, his first choice was to
let's
play
go to
for Tonga.
Tonga. Yeah. So he calls Istolo Maka, I think was the coach at the time,
Yeah,
right? And he's like,
yeah.
hey, what do I gotta do? And Istolo Maka goes, well, you gotta buy your own ticket to come to
That's his
Tonga.
name. Tua. His name is Kampese Maafu.
Campese Mafu. So
Yeah.
the Tongan, the Ikaretahi says, you have to pay for yourself to come to Tonga. You have to figure out your own accommodations, and then you have to show up for tryouts, and then we'll see if we pick you or not. And
Mm.
then all of a sudden, Fiji calls him and says, hey, oh yeah, by the way, we'll pay for your hotel, we'll pay for your ticket, and you're
And you get
guaranteed
paid
on
for
the
playing.
team.
Yeah,
Yeah. So he's
yeah.
like, guys, I'm gonna withdraw my interest in the Ikaretahi and I'm
Ikaretahi.
gonna go play for the Flying Fijians. But yeah, the short answer is David, 100%.
Yeah.
100% that if America were to focus on rugby, then yes, Matema Tonga and Ikaretahi would miss out tremendously on that
And
talent.
and another thing, it'll be awesome if America had a huge influence in rugby because I know America would push pro player movement wherever players want to play
Yes.
because I know it's more of that old thinking of European English clubs of just try to like retain players just for the sake of it, and if they play for one they can't play for another. But America is really actually is the breakers and encouraging player movement. So
Yeah.
that's a good thing
I
for
would probably
Polynesian
agree as well. I think the
Polynesian
rules
nations.
would
Yeah.
be a lot leaner, a lot
Yes.
closer to what the NRL has.
Yeah. Yeah.
With that being said, Masi, any other kind of general topics in general you want to bring up? Anything?
Ooh. I can't think of anything right now. I think we've kind of covered all of them. I am trying to follow any up and coming Polynesian players in the NBA. I haven't been finding any so
Yeah,
far, but
let me look up our
there was this
brother.
Samoan black one that was in. His name was like James something. He played for the Heat, but he was kind of jumping around teams. James Johnson or something.
What's the update with Steven Adams?
Last time I heard he was hurt, but I don't know. I don't know if he's still playing or.
No, they traded him. So he was he went from OKC to Memphis, and then it looks
Yes,
like
what
they
did he
traded
went to
him
the
to the
Pelic-
Rockets.
Oh, is he with the Rockets? Okay, so he's with the Rockets then.
Well, they still spent a lot of him. It looks like 3 draft picks and an active player.
Yeah, I'm just looking here. So on February 1st, 2024, Adams was traded to the Rockets in exchange for Victor Oladipo and 3 future second-round picks. So, yeah, so maybe Steven Adams could be the only Polynesian player still left in the NBA.
Yeah, so I'm putting it through here. Yeah, so Steven Adams here. So the Rockets get Steven Adams, and then the Grizzlies got Victor Oladipo, and wow, 2 second-round picks in 2024, and 1. Man, Steven Adams still brings a lot of value, man. This is getting traded with some draft picks and an active player, so obviously he still brings value to teams, and they're willing to spend not just money but also draft picks on him.
There's a half Samoan, half black guy. His name is James Johnson. He plays for the Indiana Pacers right now. He's moved to a different teams and stuff, so that's another one that's still on the
So
active roster.
he's Samoan.
Samoan black. Yeah, I think his mother
Is that him? Is that him right there?
Yes. Yeah. He's currently with the Indiana Pacers that got eliminated by the Celtics.
So he had a good year. Looks like
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was Samoan.
Yeah, I remember it because he mentioned something in the interview about his mom coming over of Samoan to come in and bringing all her family, from Samoa, something like that. So,
He's
and
like,
he was hoping he would have enough tickets to bring all the people that she's invited. So
that's what I was gonna say. So he's like, yeah, everybody shows up, probably every game. He's probably asking the other NBA guys if he's able to have their tickets for his family. The typical Polynesian experience right there.
Yeah. So those are the only 2 that I know of, because I know Jabari Parker is with the EuroLeague that are in the NBA. But I don't know anyone else.
Okay, sweet. Well, I think that's been a pretty successful night. We appreciate all the comments, especially David. Hey, Sila, Masi, I have one more comment. This guy look familiar to you?
Oh, yeah. Go Hawks, up the Blues.
I think this is the reason why the Blues lost, is because this guy was cheering for them.
Yeah, nah, he's good. He's hey, the Blues need to be grateful. They got a fan all the way in Utah, kind of supporting them. So, man, cool. Thank you, Sheila.
Yeah, that's hilarious. And actually, I typically go with the Reds, the Maroons. I typically go with Queensland. But there were just so many Polynesian guys, a bunch of the Samoan guys, and we had only two Tongan guys on the
I didn't mind
Queensland.
No, yes, so I went with the Blues, but then I didn't know that Kaufusi guy would win. There was like 2 Tongan guys. I was like, oh, I don't mind if the Maroons win. So it was good, because I think when guys playing those games, they get a nice paycheck. So I want those guys to get a nice paycheck too. So.
10-4, yeah. So yeah, well, hopefully I'm still gonna back the Blues, and see how well they do. And yeah, David, we'll definitely mention those names to our dad. Looks like you only know there's good people here. They're from La Paja. David's from La Paja, Masi.
Oh,
so
cool.
We're from the same town. So with that being said, once again, everybody, it's been a pleasure. Appreciate the feedback, appreciate the involvement. Everybody have a great evening, and until next time,
see ya.
We'll see ya. Bye.